Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranams to all the devotees. Thank you all for joining in this most auspicious Kartik month. We are trying to, it's a humble endeavor from our side to please Shri Guru and Gauranga. We're having these sessions every day where we are trying to please Srila Prabhupada by study of Srila Prabhupada's books. We are currently in book number 9, which is Easy Journey to Other Planets. And then we will recite verses from Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 12, and then 10.31 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is also called Gopi Geet. And then finally, we will sing the Damodarashtakam, offer Diya, and then take our lesson for today from the Damodar Leela. So thank you very much for joining in. We will quickly start with this Easy Journey to Other Planets. We've been reading this for about 10 days or so now. So in this book, Srila Prabhupada is actually describing what is the anti-material world. The anti-material world is a world which is transcendental to the three modes of material nature, which is transcendental to this material world. And how do we go to this anti-material world? We can go to this anti-material world by engaging in anti-material activities. What are those anti-material activities? Prabhupada says those are, quoting Prahlad Maharaj from Canto 8 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada is talking about Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Mandaram, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. When we perform these activities, then we can get promoted to the spiritual world. Yeah. And then Prabhupada is also talking about what about those who want to go to the moon planet, who want to go to the sun planet, etc. And then we also spoke about some scientists also agreeing to the fact that there is life even in the planets like sun, moon, etc. And then we also quoted Srimad Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, where Krishna himself says, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivaswan manave praha manurikshvakave bravet. Where Krishna says, I gave this knowledge to the sun god Vivaswan. So sun god must be in the sun planet. So, and there is Chandra, there is moon god in the moon planet. So instead of trying for mechanical means to reach these planets, what we should do is, even if you have to go to the sun planet or the moon planet, then the way is given by Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. What is that way? By worshipping them. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitrivrataha, bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti mad yajinopima. So but Krishna himself tells, if you want to go to the planets of the demigods, then you worship the demigods. If you want to go to the planets of the Pitrus, and worship the Pitrus. Right? But if you want to come back to me, yanti mad yajinopima, worship me, and in this way you will come to me. Right? And then finally, yesterday we were reading about how Prabhupada is talking about, even if we go to the Brahma Loka, the highest planet in this material universe, if we have to come back to this material world. Right? A Brahma Bhavana Loka Punar Avaratino Arjuna. Right? Even if you go to the spirit, the highest planet in this material world, you have to come back. So, what does an intelligent person do? Yajantihi Sumedasa. What do? Yajna Sankirtana prayer, right? By engaging in the Yuga Dharma, which is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in the congregation of devotees, one is able to transport oneself back home, back to Godhead, back to that anti-material world. Okay, so let's start reading. Devotees can raise your hands and then we will start reading. Okay, I already see Nisha Mataji's hand up. Go ahead, Mataji. As far as the planetary system of the spiritual sky is concerned from there. Hare Krishna, yes, you have to unmute yourself. Dear Nisha Mataji, yes.
Okay, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji, yes, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. As far as the planetary system of the spiritual sky is concerned, there are unlimited Vaikuntha planets in the Paravyoma. The Vaikunthas are spiritual planets which are manifestations of the internal potency of the Lord, and the ratio of these planets to the material planets, external energy in the material sky is 3:1. So the poor materialist is busy making political adjustments on a planet which is most insignificant in God's creation, to say nothing of this planet Earth. The whole universe with innumerable planets throughout the galaxies is comparable to a grain of mustard seed in a bag full of mustard seeds. But the poor materialist makes plans to live comfortably here and thus wastes his valuable human energy in something which is doomed to frustration. Instead of wasting his time with business speculations, he might have sought the life of plain
Plain living.
living, high spiritual thinking, and thus saved himself from perpetual materialistic unrest. Hari Bol,
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So here Prabhupada is talking about the insignificance of this material world, right? Prabhupada was talking about how the Paravyoma or the transcendental world or the Vaikuntha planets is 3/4 of the entire creation. And whereas this material world, which is this Prakriti or the material world, is just about 1/4, right? Ekapada Vibhuti and Tripada Vibhuti. Tripada Vibhuti is the spiritual world, which comprises of the 3/4 of this creation, whereas Ekapada Vibhuti or this material world comprises of only 1/4 of the total creation by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why the ratio is said to be 3:1. And then Prabhupada is continuing to talk about what about the entire creation itself is only 1/4. Then what are we talking about? We are talking about simply this planet Earth. This planet Earth is like one mustard seed, right? If all of the galaxies are like mustard seeds in one bag, this Earth planet, what we are living, right, is just one mustard seed in this bag full of mustard seeds. So instead of wasting one's time thinking how I can enjoy myself in this material world, which is so insignificant in itself, we should spend our time in actually plain living and high spiritual thinking. Plain living means having utilized this human form of life. How can I utilize it in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead? In this way, we will be able to transcend ourselves from this materialistic propensities. How do we transcend ourselves? By understanding how insignificant this world is, how insignificant this earthly planet is. And out of the 1/4 creation, which is this material universes, one of the planets is the Earth, right? Out of Brahmanda Brahmite, right? Brahmanda means there are so many Brahmandas, there are so many universes, there are so many Brahmas. Out of those universes, we are staying in one universe, which is like a mustard seed in a bag of mustard seeds. And in that mustard seed, we are just occupying the Earth planet, right? There are so many planets, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, whatever, right? In that, we are in a small planet called the earthly planet. And in that earthly planet also, it is so many countries are there, so many continents are there. We are staying in one small part in Mumbai, in that too one small place, Kandivali, in one small apartment where there are 25 apartments in one, in one building. So in this way, when we realize how insignificant we are in the general scheme of things, then we will not try to enjoy ourselves. Rather, we will try to understand what is the purpose of my creation. Why am I being created in this human form of life? What am I supposed to do to get out of this entanglement of birth, death, disease, and old age? So that is what an intelligent person will try to do. Okay, so let's go forward. Sindhu Mataji, you wanted to read? Okay, go ahead. Even if a materialist wants to enjoy,
Hare Krishna, pranams, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, pranams.
Even if a materialist wants to enjoy developed material facilities, he can transfer himself to planets where he can experience material pleasures much more advanced those available on the Earth planet. But the best plan is to prepare oneself to return to the spiritual sky after leaving the body. However, if one is intent on enjoying material facilities, one can transfer himself to other planets in the material side by utilizing the yogic powers. The playful spaceships of the astronauts are but childish entertainment and are of no use for this purpose.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so we were talking about that example, right, of how a mother is cooking in the kitchen, right? The small child also wants to cook, wants to imitate the mother. And what does she go? She asks the mother, I also want to cook. Why only you will cook? I also want to cook. And then what does the mother do? The mother gives play toys for the child to cook, and the child makes chapati. The child uses clay and makes different shapes of vegetables and puts it in the gas stove and nicely cooks, right? At 1 o'clock when it is lunchtime, when the stomach is growling for food, Then she runs to the mother. Oh, mother, give me food. And the mother is saying, you already cooked, isn't it? Okay, eat from that. Can the child eat that and be satisfied? No, right? Because that is the child, what is the entertainment that the child is going through. Similarly, whatever endeavor we are doing in this material world, in actually trying to enjoy sense gratification, is like the child's play. We are getting frustrated at the end of all of it. Can we, just like the child cannot eat the foodstuffs that he or she has created in those play toys, similarly, we also will not find satisfaction in our pursuits in this material world. When we go to our mother, Supreme Mother Srimati Radharani, she will guide us how we can attain eternal satisfaction. Right? Otherwise, Brahmandi Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasada Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. We get the Bhakti Lata Bija simply by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. Otherwise, we'll be roaming around in this Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi cycle, one after another, in one after the other species, right? If we live in a very sattvic way, then we will be born in the family of Brahmanas. But still, we are undergoing birth, death, disease, and old age. Right? If you are not working in a, we are working in a tamasic way, then probably we'll degrade ourselves into animals or plant species. But still, what is it that we're doing? We are just going around. It is like this ride, right? Where it goes up and down, where you were going up, we are thinking, oh, I'm very much advanced now, but we are still coming down. Then we're going up, we're coming down. It is like the we call it ratinam. I don't know what you call in, it's not, the word is not coming. So similarly, we are going up and down, right? Sometimes we elevate ourselves to the heavenly planets. Sometimes we go to the hellish planets, exhausting the various karmas. Again, we are coming back to this material world. So if you are going to continue to engage in this childish entertainment, like Prabhupada is calling it, childhood entertainments, because there is no purpose. At the end of it, we've just wasted our time. We just time pass किया हम लोगों ने. कुछ फायदा नहीं है ये ऐसा करने से, right? So what are we going to do? We should transfer ourselves back to the spiritual world. And how do we do that? The best plan is to engage in the process of devotional service, right? Even if one wants to enjoy material facilities, one cannot use the material, the rockets or the planes to go to a world which is beyond the earthly planet. One cannot do that. Right? Why we cannot do that? Because those are not equipped to take us out of this earthly planet. So the way is given by Srila Prabhupada, quoting Lord Sri Krishna, right? Krishna says in Dhyana Yoga, 6th chapter, the Ashtanga yogis, by practice of the yogic system, they are able to transfer themselves to Janaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka, etc. Right? But utilizing the material helicopters and the aeroplanes and the rockets, we will not be able to go anywhere beyond the earthly planet. So next paragraph, Prabhupada is going to talk about the Ashtanga yoga system, right? How that is also materialistic, but at least it will help one transfer to transfer to a particular point where one can control one's mind and focus on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, Deepak Prabhu, go ahead.
The Ashtanga yoga system is also materialistic, in as much as it teaches one to control the movement of air without the material body. The spiritual spark, the soul, is floating on air within the body, and inhalation and exhalation are the waves of that air containing the soul. Therefore, the yoga system is materialistic art of controlling this air by transferring it from the stomach to the navel, from the chest to the collarbone, and from there to the eyeballs, and from there to the cerebellum, and from there to any desired planet. The velocities of air and lights are taken into consideration by the material scientist, but he has no information of the velocity of the mind and intelligence. We have some limited experience. Of the velocity of the mind, because in a moment we can transfer our mind to place hundreds of thousands of miles away. Intelligence is even finer. Finer than intelligence is the soul, which is not matter like mind and intelligence, but is a spirit or antimatter. The soul is hundreds of thousands of times finer and more powerful than intelligence. We can thus only imagine the velocity of the soul in its traveling from one planet to another. Needless to say, the soul travels by its own strength and not with the help of any kind of material vehicle. The best civilization of eating, sleeping, fearing, and sense gratifying has misled modern man into forgetting how powerful a soul he has. As we have already described, the soul is a spiritual spark, which is many, many times more illuminating, dazzling, and powerful than sun, moon, or electricity. Human life is spoiled when man does not realize his real identity with the soul. Lord Chaitanya appeared with his disciple Nityananda to save man from this type of misleading civilization.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, so in this paragraph, in these two paragraphs, Prabhupada is talking about the importance of the human form of life, right? We are eternal spirit souls and Jivera Swarupa He Krishnera Nitya Das, right? If you don't understand that I have been created so that I can perfect my life, I've been given this human form of life with which I can perfect my human form and go back home, back to Godhead. What is not generally possible for animals and plant species is possible in this human form of life, right? But if I utilize this human form of life, if I while away my time and live like an animal, then I'm degrading myself to the position of an animal. Ahara nidra bhayam maitunam cha samani mekam pashubir samanam dharmo hi eko adhiko vishesho dharmen hinam pashubir samanam, right? If I don't utilize my human form of life to engage in inquiry about who is the absolute truth, who am I, what is my relationship with the Lord, why am I suffering in this material world, right? With various kleshas, right? We have the Adhyatmic kleshas, Adhibhautik kleshas, Adhidevic kleshas, right? Why am I suffering in this material world? If I don't inquire into it and live life just like an animal, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then I'm misutilizing my human form of life. I'm degrading myself, right? That's what Prabhupada is saying. Human life is spoiled when one does not realize his real identity with the soul. And what did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has actually given us this Harinam Sankirtan, which is the Yuga Dharma for this age of Kali, right? For us to practice that Yuga Dharma and go back home, back to Godhead, which is possible only in the human form of life. Cats and dogs, at least when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went through the Jharkhand forest, he actually made cats and dogs sing and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Right? Prabhupada is saying in one of the purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita that even if you are not able to engage cats and dogs in chanting Hare Krishna, at least we should employ people. We should tell people, right? We should tell Yare Deka Tara Kahe Krishna Upadesh. Tell everybody about the glories of the holy name. Ask them to simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In this way, we will try to help people from misleading the civilization or misutilizing their human form of life and degrading to a civilization which is lower than the human form of life. Okay. Now, Kishori Mataji, please go ahead. We'll end with you. Srimad Bhagavatam also describes from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you. Srimad Bhagavatam also describes how yogis can travel to all the planets in the universe. When the vital force is lifted to the cerebellum, there is every chance of this force bursting out from the eyes, nose, ears, etc. As these are places which are known as the seventh orbit of the vital force. But the yogis can block out these holes by complete suspension of air. The yogi can then concentrate the vital force in the middle position, that is between the eyebrows. At this position, the yogi can think of the planet into which he wants to enter after leaving the body. He can then decide whether he wants to go to the abode of Krishna in the transcendental Vaikunthas, from which he will not be required to descend into the material world, or to travel the higher planets in the material universe. The perfect yogi is at liberty to do either. But for the perfect yogi who has attained success in the method of living his body in perfect consciousness, transferring from one planet to another is as easy as in ordinary man's walking to the grocery store. As already discussed, the material body is just a covering of the spiritual soul. Mind and intelligence are the undercovering, and the gross body of earth earth, water, air, etc. is the coating of the soul. As such, any advanced soul who has realized himself by the yogic process, who knows the relationship between matter and spirit, can live the gross dress of the soul in perfect order as he desires. By the grace of the God, we have complete freedom because the Lord is kind to us. We can live anywhere, either in the spiritual sky or in the material sky upon whichever planet we desire. However, misuse of this freedom causes one to fall down into the material world and suffer the threefold miseries of conditions life. The living of a miserable life in the material world by dint of the soul's choice is nicely illustrated by Milton in Paradise Lost. Similarly, by choice, the soul can regain paradise and return home back to Godhead.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So every time we have a choice, right? The choices that we make will determine our future destination. Today we are situated in a particular position or in a particular situation according to the choices that we made in the past, in our past lives, in our past, in this life also, right? Every minute we have a choice whether we want to attend Bhagavatam class or whether we want to watch a cricket match, whether we want to pollute our consciousness by enjoying ourselves in this material world, or we want to utilize that choice to engage in spiritual activity and elevate our consciousness, right? Every time we have a choice, and how we utilize how we make the choices, in that way our future destination is determined, right? And if we misuse the choice, or we take a choice that is going to engage ourselves in sense gratification, the more it is going to become difficult for us to make the right choices, right? As well as Radhanath Swami Maharaj, we discussed earlier also. Maharaj was talking about the good dog and the bad dog. Also Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj, right? Both of them give the analogy of the dogs that are there in our heart. One is a good dog and a bad dog. The good dog is always telling us, engage in devotional service, hear Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, etc. The bad dog is saying, oh, what is the need to get up early in the morning? One day if we sleep, what will happen? Oh, it's okay, let's have just Pani Puri, or one day if we have it on the roadside Pani Puri, it is okay. So in this way, whichever dog we are feeding, which dog are we feeding? Whichever dog we are listening to, and we are acting accordingly, right? If we go ahead and listen to the bad dog and go and have that Pani Puri on a particular day, right? We cannot say that it is not going to affect us, because every act that we do is creating an impression in our mind. The more impressions that we create of sense gratification, the more difficult it is going to be for us to take up the instruction of the right dog, or to take up the process of devotional service. And every time we make a right choice, the next day it becomes more and more easy for us to make the right choices. Right? Today we say, no, I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock or at 3:30 a.m. for the Mangalarti and chanting session. First day it will be difficult, second day it will be difficult, third day it will be difficult. In a week, if we've got up on all the 7 days, right, by feeding the good dog, then the good dog becomes very strong. It becomes easy for us. The bad dog is becoming, is hungry and starved, and the bad dog dies down. So there is not so much of pull of the mind, I want to go to sleep, or I want to do this, that, etc. So the more we make right choices, the more it is going to become easy for us to engage in the practices of devotional service, right? And by making such right choices again and again, all the time, it will become a way of life for us. And this will enable us to return home back to Godhead. So a series of right choices is the way in which it will help us to make more right decisions and go back to Godhead. Right, so that is what is mentioned here. And finally, we also saw how what are the various thoughts that we accumulated over our entire life. That is what we will remember at the time of death. So in this way, we will complete this study. Karpavali Mataji will start with you studying tomorrow. Now we will quickly let's go on to our study of Bhagavad Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 12, entitled Devotional Service. Let me share my screen. Yeah. अर्जुनोवाच एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेशमनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेतास्ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरम् अनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्रगम् अचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थम् अचलं ध्रुवम् सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखम् देहवद्भिरवाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम्। मय्येव मन आदत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अत चित्तं समादातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय। अभ्यासेऽपि समर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थम् अपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिम् अवाप्स्यसि। अतैतत् अप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुम् मद्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यथात्मवान्। श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानात् ध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागस्त्यागा शान्तिरनन्तरम्। अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखसुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यथात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पिता मनोबुद्धिर्यो मद्भक्तः मे प्रियः। यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षमर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः। अनपेक्ष शुचिर्दक्षा उदासीनो गतव्यतः सर्व आरम्भ परित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः। यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभा परित्यागी भक्तिमान्य स मे प्रियः। समशत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानपमानयो शीतोष्णा सुखदुःखेषु समसङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दा स्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतः स्थिरमतिर्भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः। ये तु धर्मामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। I will recite Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter number 31, the Gopis' songs of separation, also called the Gopi Geet. Prataparudra Maharaj chanted these Gopi Geet, and although he was a Vishayi, and although Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not want to meet him, he actually embraced King Prataparudra. Not just because he recited this, because he had the mood of a devotee. He was a great devotee of the Lord. He was also performing his Swadharma as the king. Right, and he was also swept the entire road before the Jagannath Rath Yatra began. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw all of this, and he knew the heart. In his heart, he knew that it was King Prataparudra who was disguised as a Brahmana. It's not that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Prataparudra because he was in the disguise of Brahmana. Right, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not different from Krishna. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto atas smritir jnanam apohanam cha. The one who gives remembrance and knowledge and forgetfulness to everyone else, how can he not know? Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in complete knowledge. This is King Prataparudra, but yet he gave his mercy because he knew that Prataparudra Maharaj was a great devotee of the Lord. So similarly, if we are sincere devotees and we chant all these verses like Gopi Geetam, chapter 12 of the Bhagavad Gita, any of the chapters of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, etc., we will also be recipients of the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. So with this desire to become recipients of the mercy of the Lord, we will recite these verses from Canto 10, chapter number 31 of Srimad Bhagavatam, which is Gopi Geet. Gopya uchuhu jayati tedikam janmana vraja Shrayata indira shashvadatrahi daita drisyatam dikshutavakas tvaidrita savas tvam vichinvate sharadudashaye krishna sadhu jatasat sarasi jodara krishna shri mushadrisha suratanatate krishna shulkadasika varadanignato नेह किं वदा विषजलाप्ययात् Krishna Vyala Rakshasat, Varshamarutat, Krishna Vaidyutanalat, Vrishamayatmajat, Krishna Vishwato Bhayat, Rishabhate Vayam, Krishna Rakshita Muho, Nakalu Gopika, Krishna Nandano Bhavan, Akila Dehinam, Krishna Antaratmadrit, Vikana Sartito, Krishna Vishwaguptaye, Saka Udeyivan, Krishna Satvatam Kule, Virachita Bhayam, Krishna Vrishni Duryate, Charanami Yusham, Krishna Samshruter Bhayat, Karasaroruham, Krishna Kantakamadam, Shirasi Dehina, Krishna Shrikara Graham, Vrajajanartiham, Krishna Virayositam, Nijajanasmaya, Krishna Dvamsanasmita, Vajasakhe Bhavat, Krishna Kinkarismano, Jalaruhananam, Krishna Charudarshaya, Pranata Dehinam, Krishna Papakarshanam, Trinacharanugam, Krishna Sriniketanam, Fanifanarpitam, Krishna Te Padambujam, Krinukucheshuna, Krishna Krindihrichayam, Madhuraya Gira, Krishna Valguvakyaya, Buddhamanognyaya, Krishna Pushkarekshana, Vidikaririma, Krishna Viramoyati, Adarasidhuna, Pyayayasvana, Tavakatamritam, Taptagivanam, Kavibiriditam, Krishna Kalmashapaham, Tavakatamritam, Krishna Taptajivanam, Kavibiriditam, Krishna Kalmashapaham, Shravanamangalam, Krishna Srimadatam, Bhuvi Grananti Ye, Krishna Bhurida Jana, Prahasitam Priya, Krishna Prema Vikshanam, Viharanam Chate, Krishna Dhyana Mangalam, Rahasi Samvido, Krishna Yahradi Sprusha, Kuhakano Manha, Krishna Kshobayantihi, Chalasi Yadrajaj, Krishna Charayan Pashon, Nalina Sundaram, Krishna Nathate Padam, Shalatrunankurai, Krishna Sidati Tina, Kalilata Mana, Krishna Kanta Gachati, Dina Parikshaye, Krishna Nila Kuntalaye, Vanaruhananam, Krishna Vipradavritam, Ganarajaswalam, Krishna Darshayan Muhor, Manasina Smaram, Krishna Virayachasi, Pranatakamadam, Krishna Padmajarshitam, Dharani Vandanam, Krishna Deyamapadi, Charana Pankajam, Krishna Shantamam Chate, Ramanana Stanesh, Krishna Arpayadihan, Suratavardhanam, Krishna Shokanashanam, Swarita Venuna, Krishna Sushtu Chumbitam, Itara Ragave, Smaranam Nranam, Vitara Viranas, Te Adaramritam, Adadiyad Bhavan, Ahanikananam, Trutiyugayate, Krishna Tvama Pashatam, Kutila Kuntalam, Krishna Shri Mukham Chate, Jada Udikshatam, Krishna Pakshma Kridrisham, Adisutan Daya, Krishna Bratra Bandhavan, Adivilangyate, Krishna Antyachutagatha, Katividastavod, Gita Mohita, Kitavayosita, Kastya Jainishi, Rahasi Samvitam, Krishna Hrichayodayam, Prahasitananam, Krishna Prema Vikshanam, Brihadura Shriyo, Vikshadamate, Murati Spriha, Krishna Muyate Mana, Prajavanaukasham, Jaktirangate, Vrijinahantralam, Krishna Vishwamangalam, Yajamanakshanas, Krishna Tvatpratmanam, Swajana Hridrujam, Krishna Yannishudanam, Yatte Sujata Charanam Buruham Staneshu, Bitakshanai Priyadadi Mahi Karkasheshu, Tena Tavi Matasi Tadyata Tena Kim Swed, कूर्पादिभिर्भ्रमतिभिर्भवदायुषं नः हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So now we will do our Damodar meditation. So we were discussing Damodar Lila yesterday. We were saying how Krishna demands our exclusive attention, right? Krishna got very angry with Mother Yashoda because she went to switch off the gas, right? Because the milk was overflowing. And then Krishna started feeding the butter to the monkeys. And then we saw what was the lesson. Krishna never forgets any kind of seva that we've done to him. Right? Krishna was feeding the monkeys with butter because Krishna was reciprocating with their service attitude when they served Lord Ram. When Krishna had incarnated as Lord Ram, the monkeys had actually served Lord Ram and actually finding Sita by helping them to build the bridge, to helping them finding Sita like that. So in this incarnation, when he has come as Purna Purushottam Bhagavan, as Lord Sri Krishna Chandra, he is actually feeding the monkeys. And then Yashoda Maya is coming and seeing your buttermilk is spilled here, there and everywhere. And Krishna's lotus footprints are there because Krishna has walked on the buttermilk. And then Krishna has come out to the courtyard and Krishna is sitting on the motor and Krishna is feeding the monkeys. Mother Yashoda knows, right, all of this and following the footprints of Krishna, she comes out into the courtyard and then she sees Krishna is feeding the monkeys. And Mother Yashoda gets very angry. This is transcendental anger. What does she do? She picks up a stick and she decides to catch Krishna and punish him because Krishna has become very, very naughty. And in this way, when Krishna sees, right, Krishna is actually turned on the other side, but the monkeys are looking at Mother Yashoda and they are like that. They are taking the butter from Lord Sri Krishna and their mouth is just open. They are not closing the mouth. And that time Krishna realized, oh, some danger is there. And then he turns around, he sees Mother Yashoda, he gets so fearful. He jumps down and he starts running. And Mother Yashoda is running behind Krishna and Krishna is running. Right? Mother Yashoda's body is very bulky. She's feeling breathless, running behind Krishna. Krishna is a small young boy. He is the Supreme Lord. Even the yogis cannot catch Krishna. In this way, Krishna is running. Mother Yashoda is running behind him. Right? After so much effort and endeavor, Mother Yashoda is feeling so tired. She's sweating. She's feeling breathless. And all of this after seeing Mother Yashoda completely tired and yet not giving up her endeavor to catch him, Krishna allows himself to be caught by Mother Yashoda. So what is the lesson for us today? We also, if we want to bind Krishna in the karagraha of our hearts, then what do we have to do? We have to be sincere in our endeavor to catch Krishna. You have to engage in the process of devotional service with the determination, with patience, right? And with the complete conviction that this chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, this engaging in devotional service to the Lord will enable me to catch Krishna by Krishna's own mercy. And we have to have the patience, just like Mother Yashoda was running behind Krishna and until Krishna's mercy was received by Mother Yashoda, she could not catch Krishna. So until we get the mercy of Lord Krishna, we have to continue to engage in this process of devotional service. That is our lesson for today. So now let's move on to Damodar Ashtakam and offering of lambs. This is Damodar Ashtakam written by Satyavrata Muni. He is actually meditating on the beautiful form of the Lord. He's meditating on the Makara Kundalam, how the Makara Kundalam is dangling to and fro as Krishna is running. And Satyavrata Muni explains, and Sanatana Goswami also writes commentary on this, saying that the Makara Kundalam or the crocodile-shaped earring that Krishna is wearing is the most wonderful ornament. Why? Because as it is dangling and going to and fro, it is getting the blessing of kissing Krishna's cheeks. Right? No other ornament is getting this benediction of kissing Krishna's cheeks as Krishna is running. Every time it is touching Krishna and kissing Krishna's cheeks. In this way, this Makara Kundalam is glorified by Satyavrata Muni. And And this explanation is given by Sanatana Goswami. So with this mood of complete surrender and wanting to be engaged in devotional service to the Lord, let us sing this Damodara Ashtakam today for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga. Namamishwaram Shachitanandarupam Tatat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashodhabhiyolunkaladavamanam Aramrishamatyantato gopya Sudantamuhurnetra yogmam rejantam Paramojayugmena satankanekam Muhushwasakam patrirekangakantha Sitagraivam damodaram bhaktibadham Iti drikshvalila-virananda-kunde Swagoshamima-janta-makyapayanta Tadiye shitagneshu bhakta-jitatvam Una prematastam satavriti vande Param deva moksham na mokshavadim va Na chanyam gurneham varishadabhiya Idam teva purnata gopala Sada me manasya virashtam primanye Idam te mukambojam atyantanilaye Kritam kuntalai snigdha raktesha gopya Mohoschumbitam bidhararam me Manasya virashamaram lakshulabhay Namo deva damodarananda vishnu Prasida prabho dukha jalabhimagnam Kripa drishti vrishtyatirinamvatano Grihane shamamagyam yadyakshidrisha Kuberatmajau baddha murtyaiva yadvad Vayamujitau bhakti bhajo kritau cha Tata prema bhakti swakami prayacha Namo kshegrao me sri damodareha Namaste sudamne skodadipti damne Vadirodaraya taripvasadamne Namo Radhika Priyaye Namo Ananta Leelaya Devaya Tujam Namo Radhikaya Dvadiya Priyaye Namo Ananta Leelaya Devaya Tujam Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jayo Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Radha Damodar Sri Radhe Jayo Jaya Prabhupada Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koji Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So whom all do we have today? We have Nisha Mataji, Vijayalakshmi Priya Mataji, Ramya Mataji, Karpakavali Mataji, Suprabha Sumitra Mataji, all the wonderful devotees who joined us today. Thank you very much. Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. So meet you all tomorrow morning for the chanting session, and then meet you all again in the evening at 6 p.m. for our Kartik special session. Yeah, maybe we'll start a little earlier. We'll see that. I'll just post in the group 5:45, 5:30 like that. So thank you very much for joining in. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.